my name is Lenoix, and today we are going to do a bookventing about what I believe in English is called Ballad About Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. If you have read this recently, you probably may have a lot of feelings, and if you don't have a book buddy or reading peer, then this is the place for you. Why don't we just go through? I'm going to share with what I felt during the reading, and I do encourage you to comment whatever you felt and feel free to write whatever you want. Let's keep it though as much PG-13 as capable by this book, and let's be I would say friendly but encouraging and supportive to each other, because each of our reading differences may occur from what we have or haven't been through within our lives. So for the first chapter, we see that it's a book about our beloved President Snow, which is not really a surprise, though. What came to me as a surprise was to see Panem not really being there yet, not really being the rich and magnificent country with a lot of fashion that it is. It took me a lot to see Panem after war, and I know it's an author's way of pursuing us into liking or at least sympathizing somewhat with the character that we are going to read about, but it took me a lot to read about this Panem's place where they have literally nothing to close to nothing to eat, and it got a huge agreement from me and understanding about Cornelius Snow's expectations in life and hopes and dreams and the way how he goes to get them. Because when I was growing up in 2008 crisis, I think I felt exactly the same hatred for that one single piece of food that you simply had at home. And I know that a lot of my Latvian friends have exact same feelings. For me, it's hard-boiled potatoes with no salt and with nothing to eat them within. No sour cream, no sauces or anything, just hard-boiled potatoes that we would typically eat during 2008 from basically October, November, December, January, February, March, April, sometimes even May. And for some of my friends, those may be pancakes that are made from flour and water, because that's only two ingredients they had at home. For some others, it may be the pumpkin, and for Cornelius Snow, obviously, those are beans. So I think I really felt for him when in the one of the chapters he gave his beans to another friend that looked at them and went, "Oh, I know how you feel. I feel exactly the same thing about oatmeal. It just reminds me so much about the war." So I know this poverty that he comes from. I also know the feeling that you have when someone says that they're not quite sure whether you will be capable to live in the home that you have lived for past 10 years or so, because it's been made for sale. It's a horrible situation, and no one ever should know how it feels when you are a child being in this situation, knowing you're not really capable to do anything there, that no matter how hard you try, you won't be capable to help, and the only thing that you can actually do to help your family succeed further on in life. So it's a huge motivation that he's coming from, to succeed in life in order to help his family. Also, we have like this constant fear of failing and not getting to academy, because he cannot afford to pay And I also know how it was because I was constantly reminded that in case if I'm not going to get stipendies or budget as it is with the Latvian education system, I won't be capable to learn and I won't be capable to work the job that I want because I don't have the proper education. So whenever I read about where snow is coming from, I think I know a lot about the situation and I know the ambitions that he is having within him to succeed in life because honestly that's the only thing that can help at that point. And then we have like a chapter where he finally has his where they both meet and we see how much roses means to him. So it's it's kind of weird reading that white roses actually was meant to be something beautiful and pure for him whenever he saw them, and taking the obsession that he had it within them later on in life. It's kind of weird that white roses reminds him of his mother because she smelled like roses, and about the best moments in his life. And yeah, it's kind of weird. When we go further on in the story, we can see Cornelius Snow attaching to his Victor status quo, basically, as he gets more and more aware of that probably that girl will not die as fast as he thought. Also, which was quite of a big shock, it was when you see the name in a book that says District 12. For me, I kind of thought, okay, we are going to have this Katniss Everdeen character, and then suddenly she's not Katniss Everdeen. Suddenly you have completely different type of girl that's really well aware about the public and the way how public influences things. Girl that's really well aware of how she looks, how she walks, how she smiles. That's extremely great at singing. That's like this outgoing and people's person, which is completely different to what we had in case with Katniss Everdeen. So we basically have someone who's having a lack of self protecting skills, but is great people. And also it's interesting to see how basically the book goes, and it's having like 1/3 of it read, and we open up and we see that already our Hunger Games haven't even started yet, but there already is this vibe of Hunger Games within the first moments, because we have like first round they're out, second round both out, fifth like the boy is out, seventh and still holding, sixth both of them are out, ninth both of them are out, then the girl is out. And it's weird reading book about Hunger Games and realizing that people are dying not in the games but in the real life where they shouldn't be dying. About children that they're just there to meet another type of children, and it's kind of weird to read that. It takes a lot of pressure, I would say. And when we have like the Hunger Game part, when the games actually have begun, we see that half of the children that were supposed to fight, they're not there anymore. Half of the advisors, they're not there anymore, either because their children have died, either because they have died themselves. So it's a lot messier than the controlled environment of the later on in first three books, right? Um, and we have this moment where we literally, the Hunger Games are done. Yeah, basically they're done and there's just silence. Nothing happens. No, no victory announcement, like nothing. It's just empty silence. And and you want to stay there because I really want for all of them to be there. Like I want for Lucy Gray to succeed in musical career. I want for Coriolan- Cor- Coriolanus, Coriolanus basically. I want for him to be the victor and have this monetary prize in order to go to academia. And I look at the book and I go like, oh shit, because there still is something to read. And this is the moment where it broke me that the games are over and you realize it's not over yet. Like the feeling where you just, it should be happy ending, but you go and it's like, I've been through so many toxic relationships that at this moment I can say he's going to kill the girl, and it's not a surprise. You look at it and you go, okay, they're going to die, and you hope that it won't happen, but whenever it happens, it's like, well, it was toxic relationships. So basically, they both won the game. They should be happy, but they're not. They're both sent back to the 12th, which, again, I read this book, I know where Cornelius is coming from. I know that he's been influenced by Dr. Gould or Dr. Gray, basically different from variations of translations that you read. But I see him going around this District 12, and I hope that this is the point where he has this inspiration that, yeah, we need like Victor's apartments, we need like to give them something after they've been suffering so much. We need the system of helping victors in order to help the district. I hope that he's like young and aspiring and he's like, okay, this is where this inspiration comes from. But no, of course, that's not where the inspiration comes from. Instead of going to the better side of himself, he just goes deeper and deeper and deeper down because he believes that his life is officially done. And I think the most horrible part of this is not the moment when he is standing at a hanging tree and seeing his friend. I would say friend, seance. I'm not sure how you say it in English. And he hears him screaming his last words before that. And he hears this mockingjay just mocking the sound further and further and further on. And then instead of going, oh shit, I've just killed someone, he has this 1 millisecond of thought, and then he goes, he had money. I have to send money to my family. I have to do this, and he goes further on with his life, which is, again, I can see where he's coming from, but I do not agree with him. And he's killing people again. And he's so scared that he will be caught that he suggests they could run into the woods. And them running into the woods, I can see why all of the after arcs are full of this wildlife environment because of him just being so scared from it, so scared from how the wildlife looks in real life. And it's just, I think the most devastating moment for me was the very, very, very best ending. Not the fact that he killed Lucy Gray. We are not so sure about that, but we kind of can suggest that she screamed. He shouldn't have done that. It would be enough just to, sing the gun in the rock bottom of the lake, it would be enough. But the most horrible part for me is where he describes his afterlife in academy, where he is living together with his, basically what had been his friend, with his mother that he calls mom, and with his father, and he says that they have good relationships. He There's no regrets, there's nothing about the fact that he had essentially killed their child, that he's essentially living together with people who whom child he had killed. He's having better life now, and he's so fine with it. Basically, all of the book, it's a huge roller coaster that instead of going up and down, it just goes downwards in a fast forward way. And when we start, we see him, we we do see a lot of wrong qualities and bad qualities in his life, that but we see also where they're coming from. We see the influences, and we do believe that maybe this is the place where he'll change to the better when the book goes on. But instead of that, he just goes from basically what is a schoolboy wanting to succeed in life to an adult being ready to do whatever it takes, no matter how hard it could be or how uncivilized it could be, to get what he needs, exactly what he needs. And it gives a lot of a place for a thought. I do agree that sometimes we do things that we wouldn't really necessarily like in order to protect what we believe to be important. But B, I'm so amazed by Susan Collins' writing, by the way how she can make you gasp and scream and wait and just build that anticipation for something with mere words, with mere black and white on the pages. And yeah, do I still want to kill presidents now? Yes, I would. I would be really glad if he would have died in a arena. I would be really glad if he would get stabbed. Honestly, he deserves that thing. Living with parents for a child that you killed, you definitely deserve to get stabbed. You deserve to get bitten by snakes. You deserve to get drowned. Yes, 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 and one more time, yes. But then we wouldn't probably have the next Hunger Games. And also, which is kind of a weird thing to think about, is that before him, child in Hunger Games basically died before the Hunger Games out of hunger. And now later on, we can see that it is a show, but all the tributes in their last days, well, they're being well fed, they're being taken care of, their advisors do definitely kind of have this understanding of what they're going for. They're giving some kind of knowledge before they go into arena, what to expect, and I wouldn't say it's improvement, but I guess it's a little bit better than at the start. So yeah, if you feel like to stick around, make sure to subscribe, and if not, and you have a lot of emotions going on, just check them down. Goodbye.